In the middle of conference play as the calendar turns to the end of January. One team looking to stay afloat while the other is red hot heading towards early February. It's the South Florida Bulls and the Temple Owls live from the Liacouras Center here on this Wednesday night. Welcome to another presentation of Temple Owls men's basketball on WHIP Radio on YouTube. Jacob Smedley joined by Andrew Mayo here just above court level at the Liacouras Center. And Andrew, the Owls 1-5 in conference play. They've lost 4 straight games. Their last win coming here a few weeks ago against Wichita State. What do the Owls have to do tonight against the Bulls to get their second conference victory?
If I'm the Owls, the most important thing to do here is to limit Selton Miguel as well as Chris Youngblood on the scoring end. Because when you look at the stat sheet here, they both are tied for first in scoring on their team with 14.4. That means they put up 28 points a game on their own. So just for the Owls, limiting that scoring is going to be a major factor here in walking out of the victory.
And the Owls coming off of a rough loss to the Rice Owls this past weekend, a 3-point loss that gave Rice their first win as a member of the AAC. Andrew, we'll stick with that game for a moment before we head over to USF. Heisier Miller, a big game. Steve Settle as well, but just misopportune. Free throws, couldn't get stops late. How do the Owls kind of correct those mistakes as well tonight on the offensive end?
Well, the name of the game more than anything, from my opinion, from watching that game, is just three-point shooting. Because you look back, Steve Settle, he was awesome from beyond the arc. He made some late shots. He made the clutch play to cut the lead from 4-1 with less than a minute remaining in the game. But then you also look at Sam Hoffman, who had a really weak night, going 1 for 7 from beyond the arc. And if you can correct that three-point shooting error and get everybody on that same wavelength that Settle found, you could really do some damage.
Matteo Picarelli. Speaking of three-point strokes, Matteo Picarelli, who had the final shot in that game, he is in the starting lineup. We'll bring you those in just a little bit. On the other side, you mentioned Selton Miguel and Chris Youngblood for this South Florida team, winners of 3 straight games, including a huge 20-point come-from-behind win just a few games ago against the number 10 team in the country at the time, the Memphis Tigers. Amir Abdur-Rahim's squad is clicking on all cylinders. Andrew, how have they done that so far?
So, something we talked about in our pregame video, just being a major factor here for USF, has been Cassine Pryor. At the moment, he averages 12 points a game, but recently he has had at least 21 points in 3 consecutive matchups here. So you already have a great scoring duo, which we already discussed, but then throwing Pryor into that mix out of nowhere, just becoming maybe arguably the best scorer in the team. That just a three-way like that, it's a massive factor for this team.
In addition, off the bench, Selton Miguel, 14 points per game. The Bulls top 60 in the country with averaging 27 points off of the bench. The Owls looking to swim out of the Liacouras Center with their second conference win. You see it in the picture there. Bucket hats being given out to the first 1,000 students as the students coming in here just moments before game time, all donning those red bucket hats. Of course, we love to help out the marketing team here at the Liacouras Center. No rain expected in the forecast, but a great wear as well, Andrew.
Absolutely. That bucket hat. I came to this game despite calling it. I was thinking more about that than calling the game.
Well, we're moments away, both teams in the layup lines. Taking a quick look at the AAC standings before play gets underway. The Temple Owls 1-5 towards the bottom of the conference, just above Wichita State, the only winless team in the conference. The Owls are 12th in play, and the Bulls, the team that just took down Wichita State, handing them another loss on Sunday, 4-1. They are 5th in the conference, and only a select few of teams that only have 1 loss so far. The Owls trying to climb back up while the Bulls really vying for that number 1 spot with Florida Atlantic in there. You've got SMU, Memphis, even though they've fallen off the past few games, they're still fighting for that top spot.
What's interesting with that standing in conference is something we talked about pregame. Coach Adam Fisher compared to Coach Abdur-Rahim. They both are first-year head coaches on these American Athletic Conference teams. and they both are known recruiters. They can recruit very well. So when you look at these two, they've both taken on very similar roles, but are having very different results so far, with Adam Fisher kind of struggling here with this team. And then on the flip side, the dark horse USF Bulls have just been on a roll.
And both teams getting set for the starters here as fans continue to pack in for this midweek action. The Owls against the Bulls, the second matchup between the teams. All time, the 23rd matchup between the Bulls and the Owls. The Owls leading the historic series 15-7. They've won 6 out of the last 9 here at the Liacouras Center, but the Bulls snapping a 3-game losing streak with the win in South Florida just a few weeks ago at the beginning of January. The starters announced for both sides right now. South Florida being announced here at center court. Starting for the Bulls, 4 guards with a forward. They got Jaden Reed, the guard number 0, the freshman from Westbury, New York, joined by the transfer from Kennesaw State, number 3, Chris Youngblood from Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Joining Youngblood and Reed is Kobe Knox, the redshirt sophomore from Tampa, Florida. And number 5, Brandon Stroud, a fellow transfer from Kennesaw State, number 5 in there as well. And as we mentioned earlier, Kason Pryor, the 12-point per game scorer, who's been on fire, rounds out the starting lineup. The Owls starting lineup set to be announced as well. Jaleel White back into the starting lineup for what seems the first time in a handful of games. Hyseer Miller, Jordan Riley, mentioned Matteo Picarelli for some shooting, and Sam Hoffman as well. Andrew, anything stand out on both sides, the starters so far for each team?
Well, more than anything here from the Temple side, there's 2 players here that I'm very interested to see getting their starting roles. Jaleel White, as we named, he has played 12 games and only started 8 of them. He has taken more of a 6-man role for this Temple Owl team, and it's interesting to see him get back in the starting lineup and see if that could shift the narrative here for the Owls. And not only that, but Matteo Picarelli, somebody who doesn't get it as much touches as you think he would, being the true sharpshooter of this team. Just getting him in the starting rotation, making him get more of those shots throughout the game, more minutes, that could be crucial for boosting the offense here. And also, when you look at Kasim Pryor, so far throughout this season, he has played 15 games and only started in 8 of them, which is the lowest amount of starts between those 3 players discussed. But the thing with Kasim Pryor is, with him proving himself as a scorer, getting himself in the starting rotation, South Florida's just found themselves their 3rd key piece here.
Yeah, and you look at the Owls, Jaleel White and Matteo Picarelli. Picarelli starting a lot of the games early in the season, past 10 games or so, has come off of the bench in a bench role. You mentioned Jaleel White as the starter here tonight. We'll give you an update on Steve Settle, who's been one of the most consistent starters for the Owls this season. We'll let you know the status of the Owls' 6'10" big man if he is available tonight. But the Owls, trying to match that small ball lineup with South Florida. Matteo Picarelli, believe he's a great combination too with Jaleel White, Jordan Riley, 2 guys that really like to finish around the rim. Picarelli could benefit from maybe off-ball passes, getting some open looks off of driving kicks.
See, so far throughout the season, Picarelli's been struggling a bit more than he did prior. This season being a 36.1% three-point shooter, being the spot-up shooter, being the known three-point shooter for this Owl team, he's really not been getting as many looks as we thought he would. And beyond that, when he's getting those looks, he's not hitting them the way we were expecting him to. So if he can really get it together and find himself in the 40 range here in the next few games, he can really start to get into transition.
And again, we'll update you on Steve Settle. Saw Shane Dezzoni in a walking boot. He looks to be out for tonight's game. Not going to speculate on any injuries, but he's been in and out of the starting lineup and a key piece for the Owls. Depth-wise, as both teams set to break the huddle as the students still filing in here for a really great crowd for a Wednesday night at the tail end of the month of January, as both teams trying to stack up conference wins as the calendar turns. Again, the starters breaking the huddle for USF. Again, Reed, Youngblood, Knox, Stroud, and Pryor. Again, for the Owls, who are still getting the word from Adam Fisher, Jaleel White, Hysia Miller, Jordan Wiley, Matteo Piccarelli, and Sam Hoffman.
To set the scene for you here in the Liacouras Center, as you look around from this upward angle, all you really see is the top of the red hat here for the bucket hat promotion. All throughout the stadium, you just see the red hat everywhere.
Both teams, it's been really a storied back and forth rivalry. We mentioned the records earlier. Last year, a pair of close games. The one here at the Liacouras Center going to overtime. The Owls pulling that one out behind big games from Damian Dunn and Khalif Battle, who are both elsewhere this year, as the Owls looking to even the score here this season. Jaleel White and Kaysen Pryor doing the tip, and White wins it for the Owls, who are moving left to right. Isaiah Miller has it. Matteo Piccarelli on the left wing, hands it off to Hoffman. Hoffman on the right wing with Pryor on him. Gives it back to Miller. Miller gets a screen from Hoffman. Pryor on the switch. Hoffman back to White. White on the right wing. White tries baseline. Off glass is good. Jaleel White gets the first tally. Owls up 2-0 as the Bulls move right to left. Reed holds on to it. Backs out to the logo. Miller on him. Reed to Pryor. Guarded by White. Matchup this is. White against Pryor, who's been red hot. Youngblood. Off to Knox. Knox drives and lays it up with the left hand. Kobe Knox, talked about limiting him, but right now got a big early point there as we're tied at 2. Hoffman dribbles over to the left wing, hands it off to Miller. Slip screen from Hoffman. Hoffman getting the post up down low with Knox. Hoffman backing him down. Hoffman over Knox. No, missed it. Rebound goes to the 6'10 Pryor. Hands it up to Reed quickly in transition. Drives on the right wing into the paint. Right hand dribble. Pass out for 3. No good from Knox. And Piccarelli grabs the rebound. Owls moving left to right. Miller on the right wing. Miller taking Reed off the dribble. Miller, left hand dribble, backing down Reed, and a foul.
You see, so far throughout this game, we're glad to see Temple's been playing a very sound, confident, fundamental basketball game here, taking those inside looks, backing down the defenseman, and more than anything, just not really coughing up the ball or giving any steal attempts here.
Sam Hoffman, known as a three-point shooter, 36% from beyond the arc, backing down Reed a few possessions ago. Miller dribbling it, right hand up around the logo with Youngblood on him. Hoffman gets the switch. Backing down Youngblood. Miller, 3 from the top of the key, missed it. Rebound goes to Stroud. Left-hand dribble, passes it over to Youngblood on the right wing. Drives, and a foul on Hoffman. Chris Youngblood, the transfer from Kennesaw State, fouled by Hoffman.
See, a 3-point make there for Isaiah Miller would have been a huge momentum shifter here early in this game. Just get the Owls, get the ball rolling here against this good team.
Miller with 24 points in Temple's loss to Rice over the weekend. 5 free throws in that ball game. Stroud back up to Pryor. Pryor hands it off to Knox. Knox around to Stroud, and he traveled with it on the left wing. Brandon Stroud, another transfer from Kennesaw State for Amir Abdur-Rahim's squad, turns it over, and the Owls will have it. About 2 minutes gone in a 2-2 game. Owls moving left to right. Miller works it across half court, guarded by Knox. Miller gets a screen from Hoffman. Miller gets it to Piccarelli, closely guarded in the corner, gives it to White. White on the baseline, backing down Stroud. Piccarelli back to White. White spins on Stroud into the paint, missed it. Off the rim, rebound goes to Pryor. Going the other way for the Bulls. Pryor gives it off to Youngblood. Back over to Reed. Trying to get it inside to Pryor. Riley trying for the steal. Pryor dips in off glass. No. Rebound goes to White. White secures the rebound. Still 2-2 game. White hands it off to Miller. Miller on the left wing. Hoffman gives an off-ball screen to Piccarelli on the right wing. Piccarelli dribble handoff with Hoffman. The corner 3 is good, and the foul. Matteo Piccarelli, you can count it, and the foul. Piccarelli puts the Owls up 3 with a chance for one more.
And this stadium cried out when Piccarelli hit that 3. That was his first in a while here for the Owls, and in a big way, getting himself to get the 4-point opportunity.
A dribble handoff worked to perfection. Hoffman and Piccarelli in the right corner getting the contact from Knox, and Piccarelli, the Owls' best free throw shooter, knocks it down. Owls lead at 6-2. Bulls moving right to left with Reed on the far side of the court. ISOing Miller on the right wing, gets a slip screen from Stroud. Knocks over to the cutting Youngblood, trying to feed it to Pryor, and he threw it over his head past the baseline.
As we discussed pregame, Jacob, a huge factor for this Temple team is the first 5 to 8 minutes. Because so far throughout the season, when Temple gets a good start in a game, they typically tend to find themselves in the driver's seat towards the end. So keeping the momentum this way for the Owls will be a major way to keep themselves in the running here.
3 minutes gone here in the first half. Owls up 6-2, looking for more, and Hoffman strings the music. Here from the left wing makes it 9-2. Another three for the Owls, back-to-back threes. They lead it by 7. Reed drives, and a foul on the Owls. An open three for Hoffman, and the Owls a 7-0 run, and the Bulls haven't scored in 2.5 minutes.
Seems Temple has definitely found a way to mend their issues from the Rice game with three-point shooting so far in this game.
Sideline out of bounds. Knox gives it off to Jaden Reed, the freshman from Westbury, New York. Pryor knocked away by White. Pryor isolating in the corner. Passes it out to Stroud. Gets the pump fake. Drives in. Right-hand dribble and right-handed layup off glass is good from Brandon Stroud to make it 9-4.
See, for Pryor, that was the second time this game he's kind of fumbled with the ball a little bit. If you can make him have some miscues, you can really limit him offensively.
Owls moving left to right into the front court. Miller around the logo. Off the slip screen from Hoffman. Miller drives right hand in the paint. Lost it. Piccarelli in the right corner. Trying to dribble in on Reed. Has a mismatch if he wants it. Piccarelli left hand dribble and a travel on Piccarelli as the South Florida bench given the signal, and they get the call. Another Owls turnover.
The fans in disagreement, but really that was a good call by the referee there. Piccarelli was moving on his back there while I'm having the ball.
Reed moving right to left into the front court, gives it to Pryor on the right wing, guarded by White, who's given him troubles early. Knox gives it off to Youngblood at the top of the key, guarded by Riley. Pass it off to Stroud. Stroud right-hand dribble into the lane, gets the flyby from Riley, and he's fouled. Jordan Riley trying to recover as Stroud went up top. That brings us to our first break of the game. 5 minutes in, 15:43 remaining in the first half. The Temple Owls lead it 9-4. You're listening to Temple Owls men's basketball on WHIP Radio. Welcome back to the Liacouras Center. About 5 minutes gone here in the first half. The Owls lead the Bulls 9-4. Andrew, the three-point shooting for the Owls, they've knocked down 2 threes so far. How have they built this early lead?
I think confidence has been the main word here for the Owls because both Jalil White and Matteo Piccarelli haven't been getting as many touches as they have lately. When it comes to Jalil White, that's mainly because of his injury. However, that's really affected their level of play here, where lately they've been fumbling the ball a lot more, not really playing with that full confidence. But so far, Piccarelli and Jalil White are making plays on both ends of the court. really showing the rest of the team and also the opponent that they are playing in their truest form.
And on the flip side, you talk about the defense as well. Jaleel White matched up on Kason Pryor, who we mentioned earlier, 20 plus points in 3 straight games, including 29 against Rice. Had a few pokeaways, trying to limit his opportunities in the post and doing a great job so far.
You see, there's been 2 times throughout this game where we mentioned Pryor, where Kasim Pryor would kind of fumble with the ball or just barely leave it out of bounds, or somebody would cut off a pass from him, and it's all been Jaleel White. Jaleel White has been making the hustle play, putting his hand up, making his presence known against this scorer for USF.
Well, out of the timeout, a foul before the timeout. Brandon Stroud on the drive, fouled by Jordan Riley on the way up. For the Bulls, starters still out on the floor, and same for the Owls as Brandon Stroud, the senior guard from Atlanta, Georgia, at the line. One of 3 Kennesaw State Aggies transferring alongside Amir Abdul-Rahim. As set to come in is Selton Miguel, one of the best scorers in the American, comes in for Knox. But Stroud, along with Chris Youngblood, one of the Bulls' best scorers so far this season, and Kason Jennings, the 3 Kennesaw State players, transferring in as Stroud makes the second to make it a 9-5 game. Miller swings it over to Riley. Back over to Miller as a 3/4 length press for South Florida. Miller on the right wing. Piccarelli the slip screen. Miller on Reed. Miller right hand dribble baseline inside. It's knocked away by Stroud. White the offensive rebound. Couldn't get it to go. And it's secured by Pryor, who sends it up to Miguel into the front court. Miguel on the right wing passes it over to Reed. Selton Miguel, only 4 points against Wichita State, a season low for him, and the Bulls win on Sunday. Youngblood on the left wing. It's back over to Miguel. On cue, passes it off to Reed on the right wing. Bulls sharing the ball. Miguel on the right wing. Deep 3 is off the front rim. Rebound goes to Hoffman, hands it off to Miller. 14:50 and counting here in the first half. Right over to Piccarelli from the right wing is good. Get out your umbrellas, ladies and gentlemen, your bucket hats tonight. It's raining threes here at the Liacouras Center. Piccarelli with a pair of threes. It's 12-5 Owls. Youngblood to Reed, inside to Pryor. Riley on the switch. Riley gets the steal off of Pryor. Riley running the fast break. Euro step, lays it up and in. Take it across the country as Jordan Riley with a Euro step lays it up and in. And the Owls' biggest lead at 9. They lead at 14-5.
What a way for Jordan Riley to show the well-roundedness of his game. Getting the steal, forcing the turnover, and then converting with the bucket on the other end.
Stroud hands it off to Reed. Reed almost lost it. White coming on the double. Stroud left open for 3. He missed it. You'll live with that if you're the Owls. Stroud struggling from beyond the arc this season. Miller over to White on the right wing. Backing down. Reed trying to get it over to Piccarelli. Turned it over. And Selton Miguel swings it up to Youngblood on the left wing. Trying to respond. And he missed it. Stroud an offensive rebound. Back to Youngblood. Back to Reed, who walks into a 3 at the top of the key. He's got it. A much-needed 3 for South Florida, who hadn't scored in 2 minutes. Jaden Reed makes it a 6-point game, 14-8, with 13:20 left in the first half. White at the top of the key, screen from Hoffman. Reed fell down. Owls have an advantage, and White lays it in off glass with the right hand.
White is playing smooth as butter, playing like there's nobody even near him, really getting his dribble and inserting his presence.
Reed on the right wing gets a slip screen from Stroud. Stroud on the right wing wouldn't take the 3, passes it to Youngblood, who does the honors in the corner. Chris Youngblood knocks it down, and now back-to-back 3s for South Florida at 16-11.
That was a smart screen there by Stroud, finding his way to get Youngblood open for the 3, who's a known efficient shooter from beyond the arc.
Corey Walker and Joe Placer set to check in for the Bulls. Piccarelli on the right wing, about a 2-3 zone now for South Florida. White hands it off for Miller from the left wing. He's got it. And the Owls are on fire. The Bulls trying to find the fire extinguisher here as the Owls knocking down the 3s with ease. It's 19-11. Owls in front. Reed gets the slip screen. Miguel off the screen. Youngblood to Pryor, and that's exactly how Abdul Rahim drawing it up. Everyone touching the ball for South Florida, and Pryor the benefactor.
What a way for Pryor to bring the momentum back to USF. Just really needed here to shift some of that vibe for momentum or for USF.
Owls up 19-13. White the turnaround. Jay from the elbow. He is cooking with oil here tonight. 6 points for Jaleel White. 21-13. Owls in front. Jaden Reed on the right wing. Looking for a screen from Stroud. Sends it all the way over Miguel to Pryor. Extra pass on the left wing is off. Fight for the rebound. Stroud comes up with it, and Youngblood grabs it, and he's fouled.
So far, USF has done a great job with ball control, really not giving up too many turnover looks despite a couple Temple steals.
And we'll keep it here with 11:38 remaining in the first half. A timeout on the floor after the foul. The three-point shooting, Andrew. He got 2 from Piccarelli. Hoffman knocking down one. Hysea Miller getting to the action. Spreading the wealth, but how long can this last is the question.
I mean, shooting 80% from beyond the arc is something that I really like to take advantage of as a Temple team. And just looking at this, like you said, how long is this going to last? If you're the Owls and you know that everybody's hand is hot, why not keep shooting the threes now while you can?
Yeah, the Owls shooting 62% from the field, 8 of 13. They've made their last 5 shots. The Owls usually a 29% team, one of the worst in the American from beyond the arc. Kind of a out of body experience, it seems like tonight so far. But on the defensive end as well, forcing South Florida to make some tough passes as well. But they're finding their stroke as well here late in the first.
See, for Temple, this really shows how efficient shooting can take a team over the edge, bringing that momentum and bringing the energy that Temple needs to want to play better defense. Hitting shots is just the way to make that happen.
And the Owls, though, balanced scoring. Chris Youngblood getting involved now, and really the biggest key is we mentioned it in the open, limiting those big guns for South Florida. They saw it leaving Stroud wide open, forcing guys like Stroud and Knox, who, 8 points per game for Knox, but Stroud only 5 points, only 27% from 3. You'll live with that shot if you're doubling or forcing the ball out of Youngblood's hands, Pryor's hands, and Miguel's hands as well.
A huge stat here to look at is the fact that Miguel has only had 1 shot attempt and he has no points on the game. And if you look at it so far, we're 9 minutes into this game, which is about a quarter of the runtime. And so far, having a donut throughout that time, that's crucial to limit the USF Bulls just in scoring alone.
Liacouras Center starting to fill up. We have students walking in front of us as the game getting started as well. The Owls looking for that second conference win. And as we creep towards the halfway point in this half and towards the end of the first half, just a stat for you listening at home, the Owls are 8-0 when leading at halftime. They are 0-11 when trailing at halftime. They trailed by 16 points against Rice on Sunday. They lost. Hopefully they can hold the lead in the last 11:30. It will bode well for them going into the second half.
Well, here we are 9 minutes in. And we talked about early in this game, the first 8 minutes, we're going to tell the tale of what Temple needs to do to put themselves in the driver's seat. And now here we are with 11:38 remaining in the first half. Temple leads at 21-13. This is exactly where you want to be if you're the Owl.
As both teams set to break the huddle, we have no word for you on Steve Settle III, who had 15 points against Rice. He was not in the starting lineup, does not appear to be on the Temple bench. As we'll try and have updates for you the best as we can, as both teams making substitutions. Zion Stanford and Emmanuel Akpomo into the game for the Owls, joining Miller, Piccarelli, and Wiley. For the Bulls, checking in number 20, Sam Hines. Joe Placer, who had 19 points the last game against Wichita State off the bench. Selton Miguel also in is Corey Walker Jr., joining Chris Youngblood at the line.
See, Youngblood isn't really somebody you're going to want to have at the line here if you're the Owls, just because as a shooter over the course of the season, he's 82% from the charity stripe.
Chris Youngblood, as mentioned earlier, one of the transfers from Kennesaw State at his season and career high 26 points earlier this year against Alabama State. He knocks down both at the line. The Temple lead is down to 6, 21-15. Owls lead it, moving left to right. A three-quarter length press for the Bulls. Lee over to Miller, right-hand dribble across half court. Miller between the legs with Youngblood on him. Motion in the offense. Akpomo coming up for the screen. Big man who's gotten limited minutes so far this season. Picarelli back to Miller. Miller at the top of the key. Gets another screen from Akpomo. Miller left-hand dribble into the paint. Into the post of a Youngblood who gets the denial and knocks it back into play. Hines passes it up to Miguel. A four-head of steam. Drives on Picarelli and draws the foul. Talked about in the break. Selton Miguel now coming alive out of the timeout.
So that was a good foul by Temple, because the last thing you want here is an easy USF bucket. If you can limit those easy transition points or wide open bucket opportunities, then just anything you can do as the Owls to make scoring difficult for USF, you should do.
Selton Miguel, the senior guard from Rwanda, Angola, transferred from Kansas State after the 2021 season, knocks down the first. Tied with Youngblood for the best scoring on the team. Season high, 23 points. And the 20-point comeback win against Memphis. He knocks down both at the line. It's now 21-17, 4 straight for the Bulls. As Youngblood comes out and Knox comes back into the game for the Bulls.
Kobe Knox coming back into this game is a huge opportunity that the Owls need to exploit, being a low percentage shooter on all realms of the court.
Miller looking to set up the offense. Akpomo looking for the screen. He gives Miller one on the right wing. Miller over to Zion Stanford with settle out getting an opportunity. Left-hand dribble into the post. No, but he's fouled by Knox, as you mentioned, Andrew. Knox gets the foul and Zion Stanford going to the charity stripe.
That's going to be Knox's second foul in the game here, just in the first 10 minutes of play. If you're him, you really got to limit the hacking.
5 fouls for the Owls, now 3 for South Florida. And Zion Stanford knocks down the first from the line. Stanford, freshman from Philadelphia, had a season-high 19 points against St. Joe's back in December. Youngblood comes right back in for Knox. 6.8 points per game. Full of rebounds. Knocked down a few three-pointers as well.
It's good to see, sorry to cut you off there, but it's good to see Zion Stanford getting minutes, just because he's such an efficient shooter for the Owls, shooting 52% from the field, 33% from beyond the arc, and overall just a well-rounded free throw shooter. Just seeing him get those opportunities to get his buckets, it could be a great addition for the Owls.
And as you mentioned, that free throw shooting stat, Stanford missing the second free throw, 22-17, Owls in front. Selton Miguel on the left wing, driving on White. What a matchup that is, as Placer gets it with Picarelli on him. Placer, a slip screen from Walker, and Joe Placer is fouled by Akpomo, trying to guard the elusive sharpshooter from Orlando, Florida.
Speaking of sharpshooter, this guy is 90% from the free throw line. So if you're the Owls, fouling him, once you get towards the bonus, that's something you're not exactly going to want to do.
Sideline out of bounds. Inbound from Youngblood. Gives it off to Placer. Placer and Picarelli, two sharpshooters who knock it down from the line. Miguel on the screen from Walker. White on Miguel. Miguel gets the jump from Akpomo and the foul. That is craftiness at its finest, folks. Selton Miguel getting into the post and drawing the foul from the big man Akpomo, who's getting in there tonight with the absence of Settle.
What a way for Miguel to weave the Temple defense there, losing Joel White not once but twice on the possession, and also getting Akpomo to jump in the air and draw the foul.
That's a senior guard who's played a lot of minutes for this USF team over the years, knowing exactly what to do in the paint, as Hoffman's set to check back in. And Miguel knocks the first one down from the line. He's now 3 of 3 with 3 points. Akpomo coming out, gets a handshake from Fisher as Hoffman back in. It's 22-18. Just about halfway gone here in the first half.
See the Bulls here really crawling back from the field goal percentages here, just because early in this game they were sub 20% from the field, and now sitting at 45%.
Miguel makes both at the line. Owls moving left to right. Their 9-point lead is down to 3, 22-19. Miller right-hand dribble on the left wing. Trying to set up Picarelli off the back screen from Hoffman. Back off to Miller on the right wing. Miller over to Picarelli. Picarelli right-hand dribble. The floater into the paint. No, off the front of the rim. Rebounded by Youngblood off the side. Youngblood moving from right to left. Swings it to Miguel. Miguel the hot hand. Right-hand floater off glass is pure. 4 straight points for Selton. Miguel, and the Owls lead is down to 1, in large part because of number 1 for the Bulls. Miller on the left wing drives inside on Walker. Back out to Stanford. Stanford on the right wing swings it to Picarelli. Owls, everyone touching the ball here with 9-10 remaining in the first half. White drives in on Youngblood. Trapped. Back out to Picarelli at the top of the key for 3. He's got it. Matteo Picarelli unconscious from behind the arc tonight. He's got 3 threes. He's got 10 points to lead all scorers. 25-21, Owls in front.
Truly making it rain here in the Liacouras Center. It's awesome to see him really getting the form that we were hoping for this season.
Miguel off of a screen from Walker. Miguel has the matchup on Hoffman. Draws 2 defenders. Hines out to Youngblood, who lost it. Gets it back. Right-hand dribble into the paint. Dishes it off to Hines, who can't finish. Fight for the rebound. Walker comes up with it right underneath the basket and chucks it off Hoffman. And it goes off of Hoffman. A smart play from Corey Walker Jr., who will sub out for Pryor upon the great pass.
Corey Walker Jr. with, exactly like you said, a very high IQ basketball play there, making sure as he's leaning out of bounds to throw it right off Hoffman.
Baseline, out of bounds, inbound here from Youngblood. Tosses it out to Pryor. Hoffman on the guard. Pryor drives, right-hand dribble. Lost it. Tried to pass it out to Miguel. A wild pass from Pryor, and it's tipped out by White.
See, Temple's putting the pressure on here defensively. It feels like almost every other pass, Temple has a handle on it.
Sideline out of bounds. Youngblood will do the honors again. Gets it into Placer. Picarelli on Placer. Placer gets a slip screen from Miguel. Placer in the face of Picarelli. No. Pryor the offensive rebound. Spins in on White. Chucks it up at the rim, but he draws a foul. Adam Fisher is irate in front of the Temple bench, and so is the Temple team.
See, it's good to see Adam Fisher bringing that energy and showing his team that he means business and is not going to tolerate any calls like this.
Kason Pryor, who's gotten to the line at least 11 times in 3 straight games. Close call, out of control, but there was contact there from Hoffman. And Kason Pryor, the transfer from Northwest Florida State, played a few seasons at Boise State as well, 6'10", from Chicago, Illinois at the line. And Pryor knocks it down, similarly to Settle for the Owls, a very good free throw shooter for a big guy. Hoffman in for Wiley as the Owls going small.
Not only is he a great free throw shooter for a big guy, also just from the field, he's really just killing it this season so far. And just being a guy with that size, a 6'10" stature, bringing the weight as well, being able to hit the outside, inside, mid-range shot, he's really difficult to guard.
Pryor named AAC Player of the Week after the 3-time 20-point performances. 25-23. Owls moving left to right. Wiley hands it off to Miller. The Owls' biggest player on the floor is Jaleel White. Miller, Stanford, Picarelli, and Wiley as Miller. It's Miller time here at the Liacouras Center. Right-hand dribble off glass, plus the foul for Hysia Miller.
Miller showing why he has taken the leader role here for the Owls, getting inside as a little guy, getting the N1 play with a chance for 3.
7:58 remaining in the first half. The Owls front-running the Bulls. You're listening to Temple Owls men's basketball on WHIP on YouTube. Welcome back to the Liacouras Center here on this warm Monday night at the end of January. The Owls leading the Bulls 27-23. Looking for one more at the line. The Liacouras Miller. Andrew, the Owls maintain that lead. The Bulls chipping back, getting it down to 1-2. The Owls maintaining that lead due to an impeccable shooting performance tonight.
Impeccable is the perfect word for that. Because you look at the Owls here, they're 5 from 6 from the three-point arc. And when you look at the inverse of that, USF is shooting 2 for 8, 25%. And getting that early lead, those first early three-pointers, showed to be more than useful here for the Owls.
The Miller at the line missed the free throw. It's been a problem for him after the game against Rice. Adam Fisher sticking up for Miller when the free throw question was brought up. Miller missed 5. In the loss to Rice over the weekend. Missed one there. Under 8 to play in the first half. Bulls getting instruction for Amir Abdul-Rahim on the sideline. Stroud to Youngblood in the corner. Miguel at the top of the key for 3. He missed everything. Selton Miguel, a rare missed 3 there, missed everything, and the Owls will have it up 4, 27-23.
That's got to suck the air out of the room if you're the USF bench, because if he makes that shot, that's a 1-point game right there. But here we are, and the Owls have a chance to extend their lead.
Miller trying to get it off to Riley, and he's fouled by Stroud. On the floor for the Owls, Liacouras Miller, Jaleel White, Mateo Picarelli, Jordan Riley, Zion Stanford. The Owls going small without Steve Settle III, with Sam Hoffman picking up a pair of fouls. Going small here as Placer checks out for Jaden Reed. Reed, Youngblood, Kason Pryor, Brandon Stroud, and Selton Miguel for the Bulls. White at the top of the key, gives it off to Picarelli, who's had 10 points, 3 threes so far. White, left-hand dribble, backs down Stroud, and the paint draws another defender, tries to go inside, and it goes off of Stroud. The Bulls bring in the help when White puts his head down and goes into the paint.
Jaleel White a little upset because he wanted the foul call there, but you got to think if he kept the ball a little higher and didn't try to draw the foul, could he have just got the easy 2?
Miller, the baseline inbound, tosses it all the way back to White at the free throw line. White, the turnaround jumper, no. Tossed out by Miguel, who tried to corral the rebound. Riley and Miguel both going for the rebound. Amir Abdul-Rahim pleading his case to the sideline official.
See, Jaleel White here hasn't scored in a little bit, but you got to hope that doesn't affect his confidence. He has to keep shooting the ball and making himself known.
Miller out to White on the right wing, finds a cutting Picarelli, attempted to block from Pryor, he knocks it in anyways. Picarelli with 12 points, Owls up 29-23. Youngblood in the right corner. Reed to Pryor. Picarelli on him in this matchup. Pryor on the right wing, drives, 2-head dribble, draws 2 defenders, back out to Reed. Reed lost the handle for it. Owls come up with it. Miller ahead to Stanford. Stanford right-hand dribble, the Euro step lefty and layup off glass is good from the freshman. The rook, Zion Stanford laying it up and in, and the Owls back up by 8.
What a way for Stanford to lead the charge and put a little sauce on that towards the end with the James Harden-style Euro step.
The Owls going small. Pryor the 3 from the top of the key. The crowd silencer from Kason Pryor. As the Owls going small, Pryor can take advantage. 31-26. Stanford gets Pryor in the air. He drives and smoked the layup. Riley the offensive rebound, and he backs it out, slows everyone down. Under 6 minutes to play in the first half. Riley off the slip screen to Picarelli. He fell down. Riley spins in the paint off the glass. Is good. Jordan Riley getting into his bag of tricks. The Owls up 7, 33-26. Bulls moving right to left. Pryor over to Miguel, and the Owls going small. White just roaming around the paint as a defensive stalwart. Mid-range J from Youngblood, no. Pryor trying to come up with a rebound, he lost it. White running in transition. Right-hand dribble, pushes into the paint, knocked away by Youngblood, out of bounds. The Owls flash like speed here with the small ball lineup.
If we look back a few plays of that Jordan Riley basket, doing all sorts of tricks and gymnastics to get the leaning too. And just to talk about what we said a few minutes ago, Jaleel White trying to draw the foul, he almost did exactly that again. He keeps the ball low so he can pull up with his arms and try to get the hack.
Speaking of Jaleel White, he has it here on the right wing for the Owls. Up by 7 with 5:10 remaining in the first half. They lead at 33-26. White inside, off glass, no. Pryor, the great defense, hands it to Miguel, who's getting in his Maserati going down the floor, passes it, trying to get it to Youngblood in the corner, and he throws it over his head. Careless pass there from Miguel, trying to do too much too quickly.
Miguel getting heckled here by the Temple fans. All the fans making sure he knows that was not the pass he intended for.
And this has been the lineup. Adam Fisher's been running with a small ball lineup with Stanford and White both out there on the floor. And mentioning all season the similar skill sets of White and Stanford, and both being the key for the Owls here tonight. White around to Riley. Riley steps into a three from the left wing. It's off the front rim. Rebound to Reed. Quickly in transition. Pryor calling for it in the corner, and he couldn't handle it. Kason Pryor waving his arms up in the air, trying to call for the pass. It goes right through his two hands, and another turnover for USF. They got 5.
See, Pryor spent a good 3 or 4 seconds there begging for the ball, but then the second USF finally gets it to him, he just fumbles it right out of bounds.
4:30 left in the first half. Owls lead at 33-26. Miller over to Stanford on the right wing. Pryor on him. Stanford trying to cross over Pryor. Pryor picks his pocket. Pryor trying to dish it off to Reed, who keeps it in bounds. Youngblood drives in the paint. He's blocked by Stanford. A defensive masterclass here on both sides. A really lack of offense. Owls a handful of turnovers. Bulls haven't scored in 2 minutes. And a block out of bounds. Fisher up right next to the American Athletic Conference logo, pleading his case to the official.
If you're Zion Stanford, you got to feel like king of the world, getting that transition bucket a few plays ago, and also making yourself known on the defensive end with that massive block.
Miller moving left to right. Right-hand dribble across half court. Gives it off to White. Stanford the off-ball screen for Miller. Stanford back to Miller. High Seer Miller. Stanford on the right wing, hands it off to Riley. Riley on Pryor. He's got a mismatch. Riley trying to get in the corner. Both White and Piccarelli were standing in the corner. Riley around the free throw line, missed it in and out. Rebound goes to Pryor. Quickly to Miguel, moving right to left. Miguel hands it off to Reed, who will slow it down with 3:30 remaining in what has become a fast-paced first half. Both teams haven't scored in over 2 minutes. Bulls in the bonus with the Owls having 8 fouls. Reed off of a slip screen from Pryor. Reed, the righty layup, no. Off glass, Pryor is fouled. Going for the rebound as both Reed and Pryor hit the deck. 3:19 remaining in the first half. The Owls holding on to a 7-point lead. They lead at 33-26. You're listening to Temple Owls men's basketball on WHIP Radio. Welcome back to North Philadelphia. The Owls lead it 33-26 with 3:19 remaining in the first half. Both teams on a bit of a scoring drought, both over 2 minutes for both sides. The Bulls shot one of their last seven. Andrew, the Owls maintaining their lead with a small ball lineup out on the floor, going small against this really tall USF team. How are they getting it done?
I mean, more than anything, I think transition has been a major factor for the Owls. Lately, they haven't scored in 2:30, but before that, just transitionally, they've been putting up easy buckets, taking 2-on-1 opportunities and converting, and also being unadvantaged on the breakaway and still coming up with points.
Kason Pryor at the charity stripe for the Bulls. The Owls 9 fouls here in the first half, putting the Bulls in the bonus. First shot of the 1-and-1 is good for Kason Pryor, who's already climbing towards that 20-point mark. He's got 8 points and 5 rebounds, now 3 of 3 at the line. 5 fouls for the Bulls, still a few away from putting the Owls in the bonus. And Pryor makes both to make it a 33-28 game, 9 and 5 for Pryor. Piccarelli to Miller. No changes for the Owls out there, except for Pomo, is in for White. Miller over to Riley. Sam Hines going over the scores table for the Bulls. Riley sends Placer down to the floor, and a blocking foul going to get called against the redshirt senior from Orlando, Joe Placer.
See, Jordan Riley kind of, as we mentioned, bringing that hard knock style, rough basketball, driving to the rim with no apology on how hard he wants to do it.
Brandon Stroud checking out for the Bulls. Miguel, Youngblood, Hines, Pryor, and Placer for South Florida. Stanford on the right wing. Stanford holding on, looking for the pass, gives it off to Miller. Miller gets the screen from Pomo. Miller, the step back three on the left wing. No, it's off. Great box out by Youngblood, comes up with a rebound. Pass ahead to Miguel. 6 points for Selton Miguel off of the bench. 4 of those coming from the line. Owls defense scrambling as Miguel looks for options. Placer on the left wing gets the screen from Pryor, hands it off to Hines. Back to Placer. Back to Miguel. Placer wide open at the top of the key. A blown coverage for the Owls, and Placer makes them pay. 33-31. Joe Placer the 3. And the Owls, of their last 4 and a timeout on the floor.
Having a wide open bucket there for Placer from beyond the arc. Those points are almost booked. See, that's something for the Owls defensively you got to watch. You can't let number 2 get open like that.
Placer, so far this season, one of the best on the team from beyond the arc, shooting 37%, which is good for 4th best on the team with at least 30 three-pointers attempted. Samir Abdul-Rahim, brother of Sharif Abdul-Rahim, the longtime NBA point guard for the Nuggets. Coached at Kennesaw State. Texas A&M, was also a recruiter at Georgia. Recruited Anthony Edwards, one of the biggest stars in the NBA, to Georgia. And now leading a phenomenal Bulls team here in 2023-2024 to 11-win season and counting.
Having all that exposure to the game, you really just got to have such a high IQ understanding of basketball. And we usually see that transition into USF's play, especially in conference games being 4-1. But as we've seen here, they've had a lot of miscues, having 6 turnovers on the game, 6 fouls, just 1 block and 2 steals throughout all this play, where usually they're way better in those categories. And if you're USF, there's just a lot of miscues that they've been having both offensively and defensively. And more than anything, the offensive ones are the ones they got to look for.
And despite those miscues, however, it's a 2-point game. Right now, it appears to be a review on the floor as the officials huddled around the scorer's table on the out-of-bounds call. Both teams trying to look for it here. 2:25 remaining in the first half, pleading their cases. But despite the Owls' great shooting from the 3, the Bulls have gotten to the line. They're 11 of 12. They've kept it close despite a lesser shooting performance.
You see, and also they're doing great from the line, just 11 for 12, 91%. But when you look at that, that's making up a lot of their higher scorers' point totals. I mean, you look at Selton Miguel throughout this game. He has 6 points, 4 of those come from the free throw line. So he's made 1 field goal. Look at Youngblood. He has 1 field goal as well with 5 points. And more than anything, Pryor has 5 non-free throw points throughout this game, a 3 and an inside shot. Limiting him is ginormous for the Owls to walk away victorious here, just because, as we mentioned, he scored 21 or more in 3 consecutive games. So limiting him, I mean, what else could you ask for?
So the call on the floor, it went off of South Florida. The Owls will have it moving left to right, 2:20 remaining in the first half. Miller over to Riley. Owls up 33-31. Miller at the logo. Miguel on him. Miller to Piccarelli. Piccarelli hands it off to Riley. Matchup zone here for the Bulls. Riley drives and draws a foul on Hines. Hines moving in rotation, gets the blocking foul, the 7th on the Bulls, sending Jordan Riley to the line as Quante Berry into the game for Akpomo.
See, Hines Jr. so far in this game has played only 5 minutes, but recorded 2 personal fouls. If he wants to keep himself in this game and try to make a difference, it starts there with stopping that.
Jordan Riley at the charity stripe for the Owls knocks down the first from the line. 5 points for Riley. It's the 3rd leading scorer for the Owls behind White and Miller as Akpomo comes in for Stanford, who had some good run off the bench.
See, Riley, a 70% shooter from the free throw line. It's good to see him knocking it down like that.
And Riley knocks down both, puts the Owls up 4. 35-31, 2 minutes left in the first half. Joe Placer running the offense for the Bulls as he crosses half court. Gives it to Pryor. Piccarelli switches on Pryor. Hines. Over to Miguel on the left wing. Miller on Miguel. Youngblood trying to get it inside to Hines. It's tipped. Owls moving the other way. Miller to Berry. Berry kicks it to Riley on the left wing. Missed it. Missed everything there as Pryor gets the rebound. Minute 30 left in the first half, and Case and Pryor standing at the logo, slowing it down. Pryor almost lost it. Hands it off to Placer. Owls going with a little 3-2 zone action to match up for the size difference. Miguel on the right wing. Miller on him. Back over to Placer. Placer, the tough 3 is off. Pryor crashes the board. Hines going on the floor. Both teams on the floor. A jump ball. And possession arrow will stay with the Bulls.
Ref's a little late on the whistle there. There were some bodies flying and slamming against the ground before the whistle blew.
Case and Pryor, before the whistle was blown, he was standing wide open in the corner. Placer took a 3 in 2 Owls' faces, missed it, and the Bulls get it right back. Miguel, the baseline on a bounce. Minute left in the first half. Miguel passes it all the way out to Pryor on the left wing, almost traveled with it. Owls faithful looking for a travel. Youngblood on the left wing gives it back to Placer. Placer dips in, floater off the front of the rim. No, rebound goes to Berry. Under a minute left. 35-31, Owls lead it, and Miller's going to slow it down. Trying to get a 2-for-1 opportunity. Miller, Hines on him on the switch. Miller, right-hand dribble, into the paint. Miller, no, off the side of the rim. Rebound goes to Placer. Placer moving from right to left quickly. And a timeout called by Amir Abdul-Rahim to talk it over with his Bulls down by 4 with 33 seconds left in the first half.
So that was a smart timeout because you got to look at 2 giant factors that connect to one another throughout this game. Because number 1, Temple has not scored a field goal in the last 5 minutes of play here. They are 0 of their last 6 and overall 1 of their last 8 field goal attempts. But despite that, they're getting themselves to the line and getting the points that they need to slowly but surely extend their lead here, 35-31 with 33 left in the half. But despite the inefficient shooting, USF is still not putting up points either. And they're really struggling to chip at this Temple lead. And to end the half, if you're USF, you got to maybe try to be tied.
Yeah, right now, a 2-for-1 opportunity. 33 seconds left, 27 on the shot clock. If the Bulls get a shot off quickly, could potentially get a 2-for-1 opportunity. And to get it to maybe Miguel here and Pryor. If you're Coach Rahim, Miguel on the sideline out of bounds. Movement now for the Bulls. Miguel gets it to Placer. Piccarelli on Placer. Joe Placer with 3 points off the bench. He's 1 of 4 from the field, and he's just going to take time all the way down. 21, 20 seconds and counting. 12 on the shot clock. 10 on the shot clock. Pacer, left-hand dribble on the left wing. Wiley fell down for a moment. Placer shakes Wiley. Left-hand floater, no off the side of the rim. Piccarelli the rebound. 6 seconds. 5 seconds. Right-hand dribble from Piccarelli. Miller, 2 seconds. 1, and that'll do it. He missed everything from the corner 3, and that will do it for the first half here from the Liacouras Center. The Owls, they're 8-0 when they lead at the half. They lead it here 35-31 over the USF Bulls. Welcome back to the Liacouras Center. About 3 minutes left till the start of the second half between the USF Bulls and the Temple Owls. The Owls leading it 35-31 behind a red-hot shooting start from Hysia Miller. Matteo Piccarelli, who leads all scorers with 12 points, 3 of 3 from behind the arc, 3 rebounds as well. Leading USF is Kaysen Pryor with 9 points, 6 rebounds. Andrew, both teams heading into the half had a scoring drought. 2 minutes for Temple, 2:30 for USF. Bulls one of their last 7, the Owls one of their last 9. What's the key for both teams to get back into rhythm here in the second half?
I mean, more than anything, I just think for both of these teams, with the scoring droughts that they've both been having, whoever comes out firing first very likely could win this game and be in the driver's seat just based off the first, let's say, 3 or 5 minutes. And so far throughout this game, the biggest impact player has been, as you mentioned, Matteo Piccarelli, going 3 for 3 from beyond the arc early in the first half to start this game. And if you think about it, if he doesn't make those threes or he doesn't get those touches, as we were talking about pregame, Temple trails this game by 5. And that's exactly where you don't want to be if you're Temple. So Matteo Piccarelli took it into his own hands to set this team where they need to be in place to win this in-conference game.
And USF, no stranger to comebacks. In fact, they've done it their last 2 games, including a double-digit comeback against one of the best teams in the country and the conference, Memphis. A historic 20-point comeback, which marked their first win over a ranked team in over 10 years. So they're no stranger to coming back for 10 points, 20 points, let alone just 4 here. So the Owls definitely have to be wary of a second half Bulls squad that could take the lead and come back in a hurry.
See, this USF team, as you mentioned, is no stranger to comebacks. And more than anything, that just shows that they truly have longevity on the offensive end. Even if they go on a drought, even if they kind of struggle for, let's say, 10 minutes of the game, they really can keep that confidence and keep the energy of, we're going to put points on the board one way or another at some point or another. And in the second half, they're probably going to bring out their guns firing, and all Temple needs to do is bring up the windshield and stop them.
The Owls, it really is something that Adam Fisher and this coaching staff went with a small ball lineup with Stanford out there with White, Piccarelli, Riley, and Miller. Worked wonders for the Owls in the middle of that first half. See if they go back to it. Ball movement has been key for the Owls, getting downhill and creating opportunities for the shooters. See if they go back to that here in the second half, shooting 50% from 3, one of the best totals for the Owls on the season.
See, as you said, ball movement here has been spectacular on both ends of the court. However, it's almost like ball movement with an asterisk, because with both of these teams, they'll get 7 or 8 or more touches of possession, and then right at the end of the play, they'll turn the ball over. You look at USF; they have 7 turnovers on the game. Temple, who started moving the ball a lot more late half, only had 3. However, all 3 of those happened at a similar time when USF was also turning over the ball. So whoever can stop turning over the ball first, that's more than enough to set one of these teams over the edge.
Both of these 2 teams top 3 in the American in turnovers per game, under 11 for each side, sitting around 10. The Owls with only 3. USF, as Andrew mentioned, with 7. Starters back out on the floor for the Bulls. Reed, Youngblood, Knox, Stroud, and Pryor for the Owls. White, Miller, Riley, Hoffman back in there alongside Piccarelli. The Owls will have it moving right to left, leading it by 4, looking at another win to that leading at half moniker. Miller takes it across half court, moving right to left. Gives it off to Hoffman at the top of the key. Miller on the left wing, trying to get it to Piccarelli. He slipped. Gets it back to Miller at the logo. Hands it off to Riley. It's a matchup zone here for the Bulls. Switch, and Riley spins, pirouettes inside. The lefty layup is off, but he's fouled by Stroud.
That was a great job for Joel White to set up the fake handoff to bait the USF defensive player to thinking that they were going to have to switch off. But just because with that fake handoff, Jordan Riley got a much clearer path to the basket to draw the foul.
Riley, who's so athletic around the rim, seen a few attempts at highlight dunks this season. The little spin pirouette. And he makes the first, looking like taking some ballerina classes out there on the court. The spin inside, knocks down the first. He's 3 of 3 from the line, give him 7 points.
Riley loves to bring out the spinorama, and as you said, bring out the ballet slippers and just get those 360 plays, whether it's a layup or whatever he's doing. Spinning on a man, he always makes sure to bring out the acrobatics.
Riley makes the second free throw. He's got 8 points. Owls lead at 37-31. Less than 30 seconds gone here in the second half. Reed at the top of the key, trying to get it inside to Pryor. It's knocked away from Piccarelli. The corner three from Stroud is off. The Owls again will give Stroud that, shooting under 30% from three. Riley across half court. Miller to the right wing gets the switch on Pryor. Miller at the free throw line. Bates Pryor into a jump, couldn't get it off glass. Riley fighting for it, and Youngblood corrals it. Up ahead to Reed. Reed on the left wing, and he'll slow it down. Back out to Pryor. White on Pryor. Jaleel White has really guarded everyone on this Bulls roster here tonight. Been on Pryor. He's been on Miguel as well. Reed trying to dance away from Hoffman. He loses it. Miller on the fast break. Miller charges inside. He missed it. A little too quick for Miller. Reed gets the rebound. He's running with Pryor. Left-hand dribble into the paint and looking for a foul. No foul, and it goes out of bounds. South Florida looking for a call as a hard hit to the floor for Jaden Reed. Took on 2 Owls defenders in transition.
As we said, right as this half was starting, whoever can stop the turnovers first could really find their way into a comfortable position here for the Owls. And USF has already found their 8th turnover of the night, and if they keep that up, then the Owls will have everything that they need to take possession here.
Miller, right-hand dribble across half court. He looks past the logo, gets the switch on Pryor on the right wing. Swings it to White in the corner. Right-hand dribble baseline, drives inside, off the front of the rim. No, quickly rebounded by Youngblood, moving left to right in transition. Youngblood swings it over to Pryor. Chris Youngblood, haven't said his name too much tonight, trying to call his own number. Off glass, no. Rebound to Stroud and an offensive foul.
Calls are going all Temple here as they keep seeming to get the ball every single time that Green brings it down the court.
Another turnover for South Florida as Stroud and Reed check out for Hines and Joe Placer. Piccarelli set to inbound it to Miller. Back-to-back turnovers for the Bulls.
As we look back a few plays here, earlier Hyster Miller had a mismatch there with Kason Pryor, and despite Pryor having 9 inches on him, Miller still got a shot on the rim, which was very impressive.
Hoffman trying to get it to Piccarelli at the top of the key, swings it to White. Owls lead it 37-31. Nearly 3 minutes gone here in the second half. White tries right-hand baseline and an offensive foul on Jaleel White. Great job by Joe Blazer and Sam Hines Jr. taking the charge. A foul, a 4th turnover for the Owls.
And with Hines Jr. here, so far throughout this game, as we said earlier, he's played 7 minutes, only 2 fouls. Him getting himself in a rhythm and making plays that work out in USF's favor is going to be crucial for him.
Placer across half court. He had 3 points in the first half off of the bench. Youngblood working Riley back down into the post in the corner. Swings it to Hines. Pryor open in the corner for 3. It's string music for Kason Pryor. His second 3 of the game. He has 12 points, and the Owls lead is down to 3. It's 37-34.
He's the last person you want to get hot here for the USF Bulls, because if he can start stroking it from 3, then that just puts USF in the full driver's seat.
Miller taking Pryor off the dribble. No. Offensive rebound from Hoffman, who airmails it over the head of Riley, and the turnovers now building for the Owls. Their second straight turnover. They haven't scored here in the second half. 2:40 scoring drought as Placer right-hand dribble across half court, left to right. Owls lead at 37-34. Swings it to Youngblood. Only 5 points for the nearly 14-point-per-game scorer, Chris Youngblood. Knox drives in. Knox the Skywalker right-handed slam. Kobe Knox looking like Kobe Bryant with the right-handed stuff. Owls lead at 37-36. Miller to White on the left wing. Hands it off to Riley. Riley over to Miller. Miller gets a slip screen from Hoffman. Miller on the left wing gives it to White in the corner with Knox on him. White the corner three. The line drive shot is off. Rebound to Hoffman. Gives it to Miller for three. And it's on Nyla.
What a sweet play by Hoffman to get that second chance opportunity. The second he saw it leave Joel White's hand, he read that rebound perfectly just to set up the play.
Hyseer Miller, his third made shot of the game, his second three, 3 of 12 from the field, 8 points. Knocks inside, hands it up to Pryor, who uses 2 hands for safety to throw it down. He's now got 14 points. Coming alive for the Bulls. It's a 2-point game, 40-38 Owls in front. Miller at the top of the key gets the switch he wants on Pryor. White on the left wing, drives inside on Placer, and he's fouled. Placer putting his hands up, a foul going baseline, and that'll bring us to a timeout with 15:25 remaining in the ball game. The Owls lead it 40-38. You're listening to Temple Owls men's basketball on WHIP on YouTube. Welcome back to the Liacouras Center. Got the the underwater theme here on, really you could say Adam Fisher night here at the Liacouras Center. The first 1,000 students getting a bucket hat as Mark make it shown here on the Jumbotron. As the Owls lead at 40-38. Andrew, the Bulls getting some rhythm, but the Owls keeping their distance here at the start of the second half.
Speaking of it being Fisher night, the Owls really need to reel it in here on the offensive end. So far, having 2 turnovers here in this half, bringing themselves to 5 and almost kind of catching up to the South Florida Bulls, who had 7 to start this half, and now sitting at 8. So if you're the Owls, you really got to calm down on the offensive end, get the shots you want like they've been doing all game.
And they've been splashing it down from behind the arc, 50%, 6 of 12. The Owls have a baseline out of bounds pass here, right underneath their basket. Miller will do the honors baseline as the Owls start to move. 15:25 remaining in the game. Temple up 40-38. White at the top of the key, hands it over to Riley. Back to Miller. Miller swings it to White. Pryor on him on the right wing. White on the screen from Hoffman, missed it off the side of the rim. Riley the rebound, no, missed it. Pryor the rebound, the Bulls a chance to tie or go ahead with the 3. Pryor at the top of the key. He's been red hot here in the second half. 5 points, he now has 14. He hands it off to Placer. Stanford set to check in for the Owls. Placer just in front of the half-court line. Placer, left hand, right hand dribble. Into Youngblood, 3 on the right wing, no. Chris Youngblood has struggled tonight. He's 1 of 6 from the field. Riley, over on the left wing. Gives it to White, swings it to Hoffman. Miller, wide open on the right wing, drives into the paint. Reverse layup, missed it. Fight for the rebound high up in the air, and it goes out of bounds on the far side of the court, and the Owls will have it.
See, that was the second straight play where Jordan Riley, he didn't do it this play, but the play before he got the offensive rebound. Jordan Riley on this play got a piece of that and kept the ball alive and kept it here on the Temple end. Because with Jordan Riley's athleticism, it also brings his bounce. Jordan Riley can get up and he can touch the top of the little shooting square. And if he can use that jumping advantage on the offensive glass end, that could be a major factor to keep this lead for the Owls.
Selton Miguel back into the Bulls. Kobe Knox coming out. And Zion Stanford his first second half minutes with White taking a seat. Hoffman, the dribble handoff to Piccarelli. Worked in the first half. Piccarelli left-hand dribble, trying to swing it to Stanford. He turns it over. Miguel into the front court, left to right. Miguel on the left wing. Drives, swings it to Pryor. Pryor mid-range J, high-arcing shot, missed it. Rebound goes to Riley. Owls holding on to a 2-point lead. Riley drives into the paint, trying to draw a foul. He missed everything. Rebound to Pryor. Owls have gone cold from the field. Pryor left alone for 3. He's got it. Kason Pryor puts the Bulls in front for the first time in the game.
On a play like that, if you're Jordan Riley, you got to take a smarter shot than that, because Kason Pryor missed a wide open 2-point mid-range field goal and lost all his momentum. And then that loss of possession there caused him to have the momentum to hit that three.
Hi, Sia Miller responds with a 3 of his own from the right wing, and the Owls go back up by 2. Pryor's 3 answered with a 3 from Miller. He's got 11. He's got 3 threes as well. Placer on the right wing. Swings it over to Miguel. Miguel, another triple. No, rebound goes to Riley. Riley ahead to Piccarelli. Piccarelli from 3 from the left wing is good. Get out your umbrellas or bucket hats tonight, ladies and gentlemen. It's raining threes here at the second half. Piccarelli with his 4th of the game. He has 15.
Impeccable Piccarelli, going 4 out of 4 so far from beyond the arc.
Placer trying to shake Piccarelli. He lost it. Miller comes up with it. Another turnover for the Bulls. Piccarelli again. No, he missed it off the front of the rim. Rebound to Pryor. He's trapped on the far side baseline. Pryor up ahead to Miguel. Miguel to Placer. Placer to the corner. Youngblood for 3. He's got it. Stone cold from beyond the arc for both teams, and a timeout on the floor with 12:25 remaining in the second half. We'll keep it right here for you, folks. I had to break down this high-powered 3-point barrage. Owls lead at 46-44. Andrew, what is going on from beyond the arc?
We've seen nothing but back and forth here for these last few minutes of play. And if you're USF, you got to be just thanking everything that there is that Matteo Piccarelli finally missed from beyond the arc, setting themselves up in motion to secure 3 of their own and cut the lead to 2. And also, if you're USF, you got to be happy that they're now limiting the turnovers, because to end the first half they had 7, and now through 8 minutes of play they've only recorded an additional 2. While if you look at the other end, as we mentioned, Temple has soared in their turnover stat, now amassing 6 turnovers on the game. And also, both teams have 10 total fouls throughout this game. USF early on was really struggling in the foul category, but they finally seemed to slow down. And once again, just like turnovers, Temple is fouling a lot more this half than they were prior.
And the Owls snapping a 3-minute scoreless drought by a Miller 3 after the Bulls took a 1-point lead. The Bulls case it, Pryor. I mean, the Owls have to find a way to slow him down. He walked into a wide open 3 unaccounted for. He's 5 of 8 from the field. 4 of 4 from the line. He's a rebound away from a double-double. How do the Owls game plan to stop him or limit him, in fact?
If I'm the Owls right now, maybe run a box-and-1 defense, because with Kason Pryor, you know that he can hit it from deep and he's capable of getting himself open. And more than anything, you can't have open looks from Kason Pryor, because those points, just like we said earlier with Placer, are almost booked.
Yeah, and you look at other scorers tonight for the Bulls. Chris Youngblood, who's been one of the most consistent scorers for the Bulls, only 8 points. He just knocked down a 3. but has been up and down this game. Selton Miguel only 6 points off the bench, 1 of 4 from the field. It's been the case in prior show as the Bulls break the huddled around head coach Amir Abdur-Rahim. Miguel in there, Corey Walker, Hines, Placer, Youngblood, and Corey Walker Jr. as Pryor on the bench out of the timeout.
And like you said, this has been the case in Pryor show, and USF's got to be thankful for that because their other 3 key scorers, Youngblood only having 8, Placer having 3, Miguel having 6. It's pretty weak on the scoring end, objectively speaking, for USF, at least with how they played this season. So Kason Pryor stepping up and taking it into his own hands to keep USF in this game just shows his pure, really essence as a leader.
Youngblood headed to the bench, so it's going to be Walker, Placer, Miguel alongside Knox and Hines for the Bulls. Owls break the huddle with Riley, Stanford, White, Miller, and Hoffman. The Owls ran a lot of that same lineup with Hoffman subbed out with Picarelli. Picarelli, who's been red hot, he sits with 15 and 4 threes. 12:25 remaining in this one. The Owls looking for their second conference win, and they lead it by 2, 46-44. Riley gives it to Miller. 3/4 length press for the Bulls as the Owls moving right to left. Miller right-hand dribble across the logo. Left-hand dribble gives it to Riley. Miller back to Hoffman. There's some miscommunication for the Bulls. Miller back to Hoffman. Hands it back to Miller. Miller trying to get it to White. He gets it to him in the corner on Hines. White in between the leg dribble. Spins inside on the baseline. Floats it up. You can. Count it in the foul. Jaleel White will go to the line for one more. The spin inside. Go to the laundromat, the spin cycle there for Jaleel White for 2.
Yet another spinorama by this Temple up and see a lot of those out of Jordan Riley, but Jaleel White finding a way to make himself known inside.
We got another timeout on the floor. The Owls lead it 48-44 with free throw on the other side. You're listening to Temple Owls men's basketball on WHIP Radio on YouTube. Welcome back to the Liacouras Center. Mark Jackson up on the Jumbotron. A little spook there, getting put on the Jumbotron out of the timeout. 11:59 remaining in the game. The Owls holding on to a 48-44 lead as Jaleel White will go to the charity stripe. Andrew, you were talking about in the break, White getting inside and really opening up some space for the Owls shooters on the perimeter as well.
You see, getting that drive for Jaleel White, that's always a good plan to kick to the outside shooter. However, that wasn't really what happened on that previous play. So we're going to break it down here before this free throw. Jaleel White was open on the corner, or he wasn't open on the corner. He was being covered by a USF defender, and he made a quick move to get open. However, Jaleel White is a pretty inefficient three-point shooter. So he couldn't really get the shot off. And he forced the drive, which isn't a very efficient way to score.
White makes the free throw. He's got 9 points, just a few off of his season average of 11, second best on the team. Bulls moving left to right. Pryor, who's had the hot hand, gives it to Walker. Knox to Miguel, backing down Riley in the post. Miguel hands it off to Walker, who lays it up and in. Excellent cut by Corey Walker Jr. Lays it up and in off of an excellent assist from Miguel.
What a way for Miguel to find the open man down low. Already going up for the floater. A lot of guys would have just taken that shot, but he kept his eyes open, looking for the assist opportunity.
Hoffman trying to get it to White in the post. He has Placer on him. White, left-hand dribble, backing him down. Spinorama, off glass, rolls out. Stanford fights for the rebound, and it goes out off of Knox, who was battling for Stanford inside. On the floor for the Owls, Stanford, Riley, Hoffman, White, and Miller as Piccarelli set to check in, and he dismisses White to the bench. For the Bulls, Knox out there with Pryor, Walker Jr., Placer, and Miguel.
It's good to see Jaleel White getting a rest here because he plays a very aggressive style of basketball as of late. Driving, getting into the hoop, kicking out, or taking the layup. And that's going to exhaust him as he changes his play style here.
Baseline inbound. Stanford has to go all the way back out to the key to retrieve it from Miller. Stanford to Miller. Gets a screen from Hoffman. Miller on the left wing. Walker on him. Back out to Stanford for three. The top of the key. No off the front of the rim. Fight for the rebound. Pryor comes up with it. Sends it across court to Miguel. Moving left to right. Miguel on the left wing has Stanford on him. The senior on the freshman. Is the freshman up to the task? 1-on-1, literally on the numbers. Miguel gets the switch from Hoffman, who's fronting him all the way to the sideline. An acrobatic pass. Pryor at the top of the key. Fakes inside, swings it to Placer in the corner, and he stepped out of bounds.
Excellent defense by the Temple Owls there. Hoffman making sure to cut off the open Pryor three, and once the ball got in the hand of Placer, they forced him out of bounds through pure defense. That was a great play by the Owls.
And the excellent effort from Stanford rewards him a break on the bench as White. Not even a few minutes where he's sitting, he comes back in. Riley, White, Hoffman, Piccarelli, and Miller for the Owls, who lead it 49-46. 10:30 remaining in the game. Miller, right hand, left hand, dribble, crosses half court, moving right to left, hands it off to Piccarelli, back to Miller. Hoffman standing at the top of the key, gets a screen and gives it to Piccarelli. Miller, the Liacouras center logo. Miller spins to the free throw line, back to Piccarelli in the corner for three. He's got it. That's as in rhythm as you get off the screen. Matteo Piccarelli, his fifth three, give him 18 points, and the Owls up by 6, 52-46. Pryor across half court, guarded by White. Pryor spins inside, lost the handle, ball on the ground at half court. Piccarelli tries, lays it up, no. Pryor the rebound, he couldn't get it. Miller the corner three, he's got it. It's Miller time at the Liacouras Center. Back-to-back threes from Piccarelli and Miller, and the Owls back up 9.
These two have been the three-point duo in this matchup, and they have done a great job of putting the pressure on this USF team as they call a timeout.
Timeout on the floor with 9:29 remaining in the game. It's raining threes here at the Liacouras Center. The Owls lead it 55-46. You're listening to Temple Owls men's basketball on WHIP Radio. Welcome back to the Liacouras Center. 9:29 remaining in the ball game. The Owls a 6-0 run over the last 30 seconds. A pair of threes from Matteo Piccarelli and Hysia Miller, front running the Owls with 18 and 14 respectively. And Matteo Piccarelli tying his season high with 18 points. Last total against Columbia nearly 2 months ago. Jaden Reed, Selton Miguel, Corey Walker, Chris Youngblood, and Brandon Stroud for the Bulls. Miguel off the screen from Stroud. Miguel dips inside, missed it. The tip in. Excellent job by Corey Walker off glass, and it's 55-48. Owls lead it. 9 minutes left in the game. Miller right to left across half court. Left-hand dribble gets a screen from Hoffman. The switch he wants on Walker. Miller round the elbow. Left-hand dribble looking for someone to get it to. Piccarelli again, and there's a heat check. Off the side of the rim. Rebound goes to Reed. Reed drives in on Piccarelli. He lost it. Piccarelli, the excellent defense. The two-way phenomenal play from Piccarelli. White left-hand dribble into the paint. Leaves it for Miller, who gets the roll for good. Hysia Miller following up his 24-point performance against Rice. Now 16 with 8 minutes left.
Joel White hitting the 180 there to find the wide open Miller. Excellent play by the veteran forward.
Youngblood, the answer from the right wing is good. Chris Youngblood, his third three. He has 11 points coming to life in the second half. The answer for the Bulls to hang around. Owls lead at 57-51. Miller on the left wing steps into another three over Walker. No good. Heat check maybe there for Miller. Youngblood hands it to Miguel. Miguel charges on Piccarelli, drives, draws the foul from, might be White. If it's White, it's his fourth.
If you're Joel White here, that could be his fourth foul of the game. And for him being such an important player to this team, stepping back into the starting role, getting in foul trouble with 7:50 left in the game is the last thing that you want to do.
Timeout on the floor with 7:50 remaining in the game. The Owls lead it 57-51, looking to hold on for their second conference win. You're listening to Temple Owls men's basketball on WHIP Radio. Welcome back to the Liacouras Center. The fight song ringing out here at the North Philadelphia tee for Temple U. The Owls lead at 57-51 with 7:50 remaining in the game. Andrew, Piccarelli, some more threes. Hysia Miller getting it going. But also the Bulls. Chris Youngblood putting up some points here in the second half, getting into his rhythm as well.
You see, Chris Youngblood was struggling early in this game. Before hitting that three there towards the end of the last few minutes of play here, he was 2 for 7 from the field, and 2 of his overall points came from the free throw line. But now after that three, he's 3 of 8 from the field, 3 of 5 from beyond the arc. All his field goals have been three-pointers, and he's been making his presence known here in the second half.
His guard tandem, Selton Miguel, who has 6 points tonight. He's at the charity stripe for 2 after the foul before the timeout. 6 points from Miguel, 4 of which have come from the charity stripe. He's 4 of 4. Make it 5 of 5. No announcer jinx there as Miguel knocks down the first, 57-52. Senior from Luanda, Angola. 6'4", 210 at the line. Missed the second in and out. Riley the rebound. Owls holding a 5-point lead, 57-52, as Miller the right-hand dribble moving right to left across half court. Miller to Hoffman at the top of the key. Hoffman back to Miller. Pump fake. Swings it to Riley in the corner. White with Stroud on him. Hoffman the turnaround three. No off the side of the rim. Rebound to Miguel. Miguel, right-hand dribble quickly across the halfway line. Off glass is good. You can count it. And a foul. Selton Miguel getting into his carry-on bag there with the layup and the foul.
Miguel making up for that missed free throw on the last play. Getting that extra point out of it as well, maybe here going to the free throw line.
Selton Miguel, 14 points per game. Again, as we mentioned earlier, 23 points. Got against Memphis a few games ago in that come-from-behind win. And taking it upon himself with Pryor on the bench to get his team back into it.
Miguel, sorry about that. Miguel getting back into shape here could be very scary at this point in the game. With 7:22 remaining, if he can start to get hot and start connecting like this could be very scary for the Owls' lead.
Miguel now in double figures. He has 10 off the bench. The Owls lead down to 2, 57-55. Miller across the halfway line. Looking for a screen from Hoffman. He gets it on the right wing. Riley to Piccarelli. Tough shot, and he's fouled by Stroud. On the left wing, that'll be 3 free throws for Matteo Piccarelli. Stroud can't believe it. He thought he was straight up. But regardless, Matteo Piccarelli will go to the free throw line.
A no-doubt foul there. Stroud really got his arm all over the shooting arm of Piccarelli there towards the end of the play. And for Piccarelli, that would have been a really way-off shot, so it's fortunate he got the free throws attempts here.
Piccarelli, 18 points. He's got 3 at the line, and he missed the first. Matteo Piccarelli, a point at the line, would give him his season high in an Owls uniform. We talked about before the game, getting him involved, along with Miller and the other shooters, as Piccarelli makes the second free throw. He's got 19, the most points in an Owls uniform for the UMBC transfer.
It seems WHIP minds think alike with Coach Adam Fisher here, getting Matteo Piccarelli involved and making him a key asset in this game.
20 points for Piccarelli, 6 of 10 from the field. He's hit 5 threes as the Owls lead it 59-55, 7 minutes left in the game. Reed on the left wing. Youngblood coming with the slip screen. Reed to Miguel. Miguel, the pull-up J is pure. Selton Miguel, the baseline jumper is good. 59-57. Miguel with the last 6 USF points. Owls up 2. Hoffman at the top of the key. Miller on the right wing. Sends it into White in the post. Youngblood on him. White backing him down. Left-hand dribble. The spin. Got Youngblood in the air and the foul. Chris Youngblood jumping high in the air and White baiting him into the foul, and he'll go to the line. 6 fouls on USF with 6 minutes left.
If you're the Owls, you got to start hitting these easy gimme points from the free throw line, because so far USF is now 4 of 4 from the recent field goals. So they're getting hot and they're starting to hit on all cylinders, and you got to get these points as Joel White knocks down the first.
Youngblood getting instruction from Abdur-Rahim as White knocks down the first 60-57, make it 61-57. White knocks down both, give him 11 points, back in the starting lineup for the Owls. Reed, in between the leg dribble across half court, moving left to right. Reed gives it off to Miguel. White on him. Miguel trying to pass it across court. It's tipped out of bounds by Piccarelli. Nearly another steal for the Italian sharpshooter.
Piccarelli looked mad at himself as he didn't get the steal there quite, but he still did a great job putting pressure on the ball and making sure USF isn't going to have any easy shot opportunities.
Miguel, the baseline inbound, sends it back to Youngblood on the left wing. Looking for a screen from Corey Walker Jr. He gets it. Youngblood, the pass into Walker is a beauty, and Walker lays it up and in for two. Chris Youngblood, looking like he's playing shortstop, whips it into Walker, who lays it up and in.
Put it in the perfect place for Walker to get the easy two there. He didn't even need to move his body.
61-59, Owls holding a 2-point lead with under 6 minutes left in the game. White to Riley. Riley drives. Right hand off glass is good. It may be after 6 on a weekday, but the bank is open for Jordan Riley. Owls lead at 63-59 as the teams trade in blows here late in this one. Reed at the halfway line. Left hand dribble, hands it off to Miguel. Miguel to Stroud. Stroud over to Reed. Gets a slip screen from Walker. Miguel gets the jump from White. Drives in on Hoffman and the soft layup for two. Selton Miguel, the fly-by layup is good. 14 for Miguel. Owls holding on to a 2-point lead again. 63-61. 5 minutes left in the game. Miller. Reed all over it. Miller, left-hand dribble on the left wing. He's got the ISO he wants on the smaller Reed. Miller trying to drive in an offensive foul. A hook against Reed, and Fisher is incensed on the sideline.
With USF still impeccable as of late, going 6 of 6 in their recent field goals, the last thing you want to do is just give the ball to them and have them more possession of time on these little miscue plays.
And the jacket has come off from Adam Fisher. He has ignited this crowd by himself here on Fisher Nights. Reed and a foul. Foul going against Miller, and Fisher, hands in his pockets, walking to the other side of the bench.
See, Fisher gave that scoring table a piece of his mind, slamming it
on his night.
Furious about that call.
On really Adam Fisher night, got the bucket hats, got a good student body crowd out tonight. Stroud, the sideline inbound to Miguel. The crowd is in it, thanks to their head coach. Miguel right hand dribble on White. Miguel drives on White. Stutter step, White the defense. Reed the three from the right wing. He's got it, and he stares at Fisher, and the Bulls have a 1-point lead. Cold-blooded from Jaden Reed, and a timeout from Fisher.
We're starting to see some drama here late in this game. With 4 minutes remaining, we're seeing on this back and forth matchup a lot of intensity.
A big three from Jaden Reed will keep it here with 4 minutes left. A Temple timeout. Jaden Reed, off of the drive from Miguel, found himself open. Just his second made shot of the game. Couldn't have come at a bigger time. But let's talk about Adam Fisher for a second, Andrew. He's over there on the bench. He's taking the jacket off. He's waving his hands in the air for everyone to get standing, bringing the student body and the crowd to their feet. I mean, that's what you want to see in a first-year head coach, a team that, has been struggling, lost 4 in a row, trying to energize the crowd in a close conference game.
And being a Philly guy, that shows that he knows his fan base, his city, and his school. Bringing the energy, knowing that if he makes that offer, the fans will accept, and they did.
They've got bucket hats given out. Of course, you could see us wearing our bucket hats we got before the game. Don't have them on right now, but it's been raining threes in accordance to the ocean-themed night here at the Liacouras Center. But the Bulls storming back. They now hold just their second lead of the game on a big three from Jaden Reed.
And that three brought them to their 7th consecutive made field goal. And so far, both of these teams are shooting almost identically from beyond the arc. Temple with just one more make and one more attempt. Temple being 10 for 21, USF being 9 for 20. Both of these teams are firing from all cylinders, especially from beyond the arc. And whoever drops that tendency first will more than likely lose this game.
Something that has been huge as well, we've mentioned it across the broadcast, the turnovers. USF with 12, Temple with only 7. Rebounds just about the same as well, and assists about the same. The Owls with 7 steals, but with 4 minutes left, the Owls now down 1. Who has to step up in your mind to really come back, maybe take the lead and close out the second conference win for Temple?
You see, my dream scenario is a Jordan Riley victory tour here because he has been tearing it up here so far with 10 points. He has 3 offensive rebounds, 7 total, 2 assists. I'd want him to make that shot, but more than anything, Hyser Miller, he's got to be the leader of this team. So far with 16 on the night, shooting 6 for 17, 4 3-pointers. And if you're him, recently he's been struggling from the line in the clutch. So you got to wonder, is he going to hit those shots in the clutch that you need to set this team over the edge?
I mean, my guy right now, they're showing him up on the Jumbotron, Matteo Piccarelli, his best night as an Owl, 5 of 7 from 3, and he even baited Stroud into a foul, got to the charity stripe. I mean, you've got to use at least his shooting as a bait to set guys up. The Owls have been working inside out, now maybe outside in, especially using a guy like Piccarelli, who has been the hot hand. That's a guy that I'm looking at, that Fisher, they should continue to draw up plays for him.
You see, my dream play late game, let's say it's a 2-point deficit for the Owls. USF leads it by 2, all momentum shaking towards them. Owls have the ball late game. What I would draw up is get the ball to Piccarelli in the corner, try to get him open on a screen, because you know that 2 guys are going to collapse on him. So if you can get it to Piccarelli and he can quickly enough kick it to the open man, that will be a wide open shot.
Both teams breaking the huddle. For the Owls out on the floor, Piccarelli, Hoffman, Riley, Miller, and White. For the Bulls, Youngblood, Stroud, Reed, Walker Jr., and Miguel. Haven't seen Kaysen Pryor in 5-6 minutes. He's been on the bench, same with Placer. Owls moving left to right off the sideline out of bounds. Miller on the right wing. White looking for the switch on Miguel. Miller tosses it down to him, and Miguel the quick foul. Trying to battle White on the right corner. Another foul for the Bulls. They're 8th. The Owls are in the bonus, and White will go to the line for a 1-and-1 as he walks to half court.
If you're USF, I'm really wondering, just from the perspective of Coach Abdur Rahim, why sub out Kaysen Pryor? Because he's the team leader in points right now with 17, and he's shooting excellently from beyond the arc as of late.
Miller missed the first. Riley tried to corral it. He missed. And the Bulls coming up with a rebound. They're up 1, 4 minutes left in the game. Reed, who hit the big 3 to put USF in front. Moving left to right across half court. Right hand dribble. Miller up on him. Walker Jr. just below the three-point line. Reed drives. Reed into the paint. Nobody's fouled from Miller. Jaden Reed, the freshman, the closer tonight for the Bulls, gives them the lead, and now we'll go to the line.
See, that's Jalil White's 4th foul, I believe, there on that play. It wasn't Jalil White, but regardless of that, that was Hyser Miller's 4th foul. So now you're looking at these 2 starter players, the 2 leaders for this team, both with 4 individual fouls tied for team highs. If they foul out before the remaining 3:42, that could kill this Temple hope.
Reed makes the first. The freshman from Westbury, New York, had a season-high 16 against Arkansas Pine Bluff earlier this season, standing 5'10", 161. He's been huge for the Bulls down the stretch. Knocks down both at the line. South Florida's largest lead at 366-63. Final 3:30. Miller across half court. Piccarelli, almost 2 Bulls on him on the slip. Hoffman to Miller on the left wing. That's the switch on Walker. Reed right up on Piccarelli. White backs down Miguel. White, great defense from Miguel. White gets it back. Miller trying to get rid of it. Hoffman Riley in the corner, ducks inside, has to get it off, and a foul, it looks like. Riley dipping in, and an offensive foul as Stroud hit the floor.
If you're Riley, you have to have the confidence to take that corner three despite the man right there in his face. Because with the shot clock winding down, he knew because he tried to get the shot off from the inside. However, if you don't take that three, obviously what happens is the turnover.
Again, as you mentioned, Andrew, a wide open three for Riley. Passed it up at the end of the shot clock. Bulls have it up 3, 66-63. Youngblood over to Miguel on White on the left wing. Miguel wanting his dance, passes it back to Reed. Reed gets the switch on Miller at the top of the key. Reed drives. Reed inside. Tries to pass it over to Stroud. Miguel at the end of the shot clock. No. Reed, the rebound, and a foul on Miller. And if that's on him, Miller would be done.
That was a questionable call from our perspective because they were both just trying to get the rebound. Bodies fly in basketball and people make contact. But I guess Miller just had a little too much on that.
Miller pleading his case for the official as Quante Berry is up off the bench. The 5'10 Jaden Reed camped underneath the basket, fighting for the rebound. Didn't look like either had possession, though, which would probably warrant the foul if Reed had clear possession. Regardless, both teams in the bonus. Fisher giving his case to the official, throwing a towel down as well in clear frustration.
Fisher really bringing the energy here. And if you're Adam Fisher, Jacob, I have a question for you. As a coach, take yourself into his shoes.
All right.
With Hysier Miller being now fouled out of the game, will not check back in, who is your go-to guy on the final shot?
For me, it has to be Piccarelli, the way he's played tonight. But South Florida, I mean, they've really playing defense for him. Reed, first of a 1-and-1, he's got it. Jaden Reed at just 4 points coming into the final stretch, a huge three to make it 64-63. Owls haven't scored since that big three, and Reed has taken upon himself to get to the line. And he makes both. The Bulls' largest lead of the game at 5 points. They've led only twice in the game. This is number 2. Owls have been in control. White across half court. Now with Miller out of the game. Back to Berry, the newly entered Quante Berry. White to Riley. Riley drives, trying to give it to Berry, and he's fouled by Miguel, puts his hands on his head, cannot believe it. And Jordan Riley to the charity stripe as both teams using the foul game to their advantage.
You see, we could have a flashback here to a game that you called. The Big 5 game against LaSalle, as when Hysier Miller fouled out, Quante Berry came in and had a season high of 13 points and played most of that overtime.
Taking that back, Andrew. A few months ago, as Riley missed the free throw, Piccarelli for 3 off the long rebound. No, Berry tips it out. White gets it to Piccarelli again, who connects. Matteo Piccarelli, the Italian sniper, does it again.
The Italian stallion hitting the clutch 3 to make this a one-possession game with 2:11 left. He had 2 opportunities to did it and made sure he didn't make the same mistake again.
6 threes for Piccarelli. There might be a second Italian stallion here in the city of Philadelphia. 23 points for Piccarelli, 7 for 12, 6 for 9 from beyond the arc. 6 of the 11 Temple threes have come from number 34. He's 3 of 4 from the line, but he missed it. Offensive rebounds for Jaleel White. He's got 5 rebounds, 6 assists, a none bigger rebound there than the pass to Piccarelli.
Despite Jaleel White being a little disadvantaged with that 6'7" height, he uses those hops he has to make sure that he can get the kick out, make sure that he can get the possession roll, and whether he gets the rebound or not individually, whether he secures the ball, he always tries to get a hand on it to keep the ball in the Owls' favor.
2:11 left. More than enough time for anything to happen. As of course, we've seen this season with this Owls team. Bulls leading it 68-66 after the 3 from Piccarelli. Owls in a full court press for the Bulls. It's Stroud, Walker Jr., Reed, Miguel, and Youngblood. Again, Pryor on the bench. Miguel the pass in. White on Miguel. White has 4 fouls. Left to right across the midway line is Reed. In between crossover dribble, gives it to Miguel. Miguel drives on White. Miguel lost it. Riley has it in transition. Riley, Euro, and he missed it, but he's fouled. Went halfway down and out. He had Barry with him to his right. Riley took it upon himself. He will go to the line for 2. That puts the Owls in the double bonus, 10 fouls on USF.
What a way for Jordan Riley to use the high glass on that transition play. Not easy to do. If he would have made that and one, the stadium roof might have came off of this building.
Riley missed the first at the line. The free throw troubles continue for the Owls. One of the reasons they lost to Rice was because of their inability to hit the free throws. Riley makes the second to make it a 1-point game. Bulls lead at 68-67. Owls with a full press. They give it to Jaden Reed, who has 10 points. In between the legs dribble. Moving left to right on the court. 0 on 0. Barry on Reed. Reed getting the call from his head coach on the sideline. Gives it to Miguel. Miguel the drive, diffs it off to Walker. The two-handed slam. The great pass from Septon Miguel.
What an excellent dish there by Septon Miguel, making sure that all the Owls around him jump to keep that man inside open.
70-67, Bulls have the lead. Quante Barry from the left wing. No! Miguel the rebound and a turnover. Miguel stepped out of bounds on the rebound. The Owls get a break. Not the best shot there from Barry early in the shot clock, but Miguel with a slip-up.
Quante Barry, that is not the shot. But however, the Owls still find a way to maintain possession here.
1:14 left to go in the ball game. Barry back out to Riley on the right wing. Miguel on him. They're trying to free up Piccarelli. The Bulls are all over it. Barry over to White at the top of the key looking for a Hoffman screen. He gets it. Pryor, who's back in, is on White. White crossing over. Pryor left hand. Layup is good. Jaleel White the layup under a minute left. Bulls lead at 70-69. White having his dance. Miguel with Reed alongside Stroud, Pryor, and Youngblood. Reed taking the clock all the way down. 38 seconds and counting. 10 on the shot clock and counting. Reed drives on Barry. Reed, Pryor gives it up to Youngblood. Pryor, Hoffman on him. Pryor, step back 3 for the lead. He's got it. Cold-blooded. Kaysen, Pryor. Timeout called. He extends the lead to 4. 2-possession lead coming off of the bench after sitting there for nearly 6 minutes. Step back 3 at the end of the shot clock.
You see, he definitely got his stamina back up because he had another opportunity to take a shot there, but whiffed on it. Then when he got the ball back, he cooked on Sam Hoffman to get himself yet another open look.
Pryor back to his 20-point mark. He has 20 points. 10 rebounds, and none bigger than what could be a game-sealing 3 to put the Bulls up 4. Pryor, the AAC Player of the Week, extends his streak and will extend his team's winning streak if they hold on here.
See, Pryor is validating that Player of the Week here, showing himself with 20 points. That makes it his 4th consecutive game with 20. If he gets another field goal here, that'll be his 4th consecutive with 21.
Now over to the Owls, 25 seconds, still plenty of time with the Bulls still in the single bonus. You gotta go to Piccarelli, or at least try to free him up here for a 3, but you can also go with a quick 2.
You see, what I'm concerned about is Quante Barry seems to want to take that final shot. He took the controversial 3, and even though Temple got the ball back on that play when Joel White had the ball, Quante Barry was calling for it. However, just to get back to who I won in that final shot, obviously Piccarelli is the dream scenario. However, I don't think USF is going to let that happen. So if you can free up Piccarelli to get a shot, amazing. However, if you can free him up just enough to get that kick-out pass or that dish to somebody else, that could be the play.
And the Owls have 1 timeout left, so this game isn't over yet. Bulls lead at 73-69. Owls looking for a miracle. Mid-quarter press, Youngblood, Pryor, Knox, Miguel, and Reed. White, Piccarelli, Hoffman, Berry, Riley, Piccarelli, Berry, trying to get it to Piccarelli. It's off of his hands. A turnover for the Owls. Miguel all the way. No on the layup, but he's fouled with 11 seconds left, and that might just about do it. Piccarelli in and out of his hands. A costly 10th turnover, and the Bulls can end it from the line.
That turnover has been the miscue we've been talking about all game for both of these teams. And just as we said, whoever keeps up the turnovers is more than likely not going to win this game. And Temple, right at the end of the game, the turnover might have just lost them this matchup.
Miguel knocks down the first. Selton Miguel, 15 points, a kind of a quiet night for his standards, but he's been on the court really since the 8-minute mark in the second half. He's been out there with Reed, some huge buckets to fight back for the Bulls. Talk about Reed, you talk about Pryor, but Miguel has been the steady veteran for the Bulls. He knocks down both to make it a 6-point game with 11 seconds left. The Owls have a timeout, but got to work real quickly to give themselves a chance. Riley rolls it to White. Stroud picking him up. White drives. White dishes it. Piccarelli, another corner three, way off. Rebound goes to Walker, who's going to just dribble it out, and that will do it. The South Florida Bulls win their 4th consecutive game, and the Owls lose their 5th straight game in conference play. The Bulls now 5-1, and once again they did it in come-from-behind fashion, handing the Owls their first loss when leading at the half.
And that's a major stat here for the home court, because this has been the best crowd the Temple's had all year. And if they couldn't pull away with a victory after a first half lead, then you got to ask some questions in the locker room, because this Temple team really needs to get in form and start winning these in-conference games.
Yeah, and again, led by 4 at the half, 35-31, but the play of Selton Miguel, Jaden Reed at the point, and really the biggest performer of the night, Kason Pryor. 20 points, 10 rebounds. He hit a clutch 3 that was essentially the dagger for South Florida with about 20 seconds left to put South Florida up 73-69, and just the Owls just did not have any answers from him. Even early on when they had the lead, he just kept scoring points, just kept scoring, and at the end, put the game away with the silencer.
Something he did exceptionally well was getting himself open from beyond the arc. And being a known, efficient three-point shooter, getting yourself open at the perimeter is not an easy thing to do. We saw it with Piccarelli, a known sharpshooter, struggling to get those looks. But when you looked at just Kason Pryor and the way that he really managed to get 3 seconds to look at these threes, great way to get himself open.
The Owls now 1-6 in conference play. They'll try again, or they'll have to do it on the road in their next contest on Sunday against the ECU Pirates. Along with our producer, Tyler Blankenship. Next to me, my partner, Andrew Mayo. I'm Jacob Smedley. Have a great Wednesday night and rest of the week, everyone. You've been listening to another presentation of Temple Owls men's basketball on WHIP Radio.